Hey, hey, hello, who is out there? I think I hit the right button. It says that I'm live, so I'm just rolling with it. How are we doing, friends? I thought it'd be a good idea to jump on before the Off-Centered show at 9 p.m. Eastern, where I'm probably not going to get a word in edgewise with Brad. Brad's going to be talking the majority of the time. Excited that we're going to have Trike415. He's got a great YouTube channel. We'll finally have him on, so that'll be good times. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Let me see if I can switch the camera around. Does this do anything? No. Okay. Yes. All right. Can you hear me okay, guys? What is up, Trevor? 2022. Let's get it. For real. For real. Let's get it. I don't know if you're still here, Trevor. Actually, I'm looking at the comments from 610. 1099s. Woo! Yes. Tax planning time. Yay. Blah. With this old news with Tops and Fanatics, competition breeds new ideas and better results for collectors or monopolization. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to just kind of see how it plays out. We'll have to see how it plays out. Oh, my wife is in the chat. Hello, hello. Yeah, I know. A lot of people are really worried about the monopoly piece. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be. I don't know. I guess it depends on if they had a grading company. If there's Fanatics grading, or if CSG is the primary grader or something or whatever, I don't know. Then there's probably going to be a lot of eyes on that. All right, let's say hello to some people. Josh, what is going on? Good to see you, man. Andy, she blinded me with refractors. What's going on, buddy? Casey Walker, good to see you. Alex, hope all is well in Australia land. Hope all is well. Are you in the city? Like, are you in Sydney, or are you out in the country? Where are you? Melbourne? I'm not going to pretend like I'm some expert on Australia. You know what? Australia scares me to death, though, with all the dangerous creatures out there. How do you live out there? Scary. Jenks, what's going on? Venderalia Warlock. I'm here. Posted a music link for you. Okay. Griffey to Best, what's going on? Dex Flow, good to see you, man. Yeah, the Logan Paul fake case thing, that's an interesting one. That's a really interesting one. So I don't know if you heard this. I saw on Instagram maybe, or a tweet, but he's going to BBCE, the company that authenticated that case, and they're basically going to figure out if it's real or not. I don't know if they're going to live stream that or what. I hope that they live stream it. I just want to see that. I have got to see it. If you want to get some of the $3 million back, put that on YouTube live. Just the whole all the reactions and everything. Justin, what's going on? All right, Melbourne, nice. Of course, she is always just talking smack the entire day. Just talking smack, always. Oh, no, I picked up the wrong quote, the wrong one. There we go. Always talking smack. All right. Red roos are the scariest thing in Australia. Jason, very much appreciate it. Very much, man. Yeah, this is like, it's good times. It's really good times. The channel is a really fun getaway. That's daily. It's awesome. Did you mean all base cards print run, or just higher end product? I think I remember your comment, Paul, I think on the video from, was it today or yesterday? They all run together, but I don't think it would be a bad thing to have print runs on some of the base stuff, some of that lower end stuff. And I understand, I think you might've made a point of, it's good for, to not necessarily have all that information out there. I'm not necessarily saying that that's wrong. I just think it'd be nice maybe to have more transparency around some of these sets. And honestly, I think they're going to have so many different sets that when you're talking about like the base cards print run, I think there's going to be many varieties of base. I think there's going to be like lower, mid, and high end. I think there's going to be a lot of product. I actually think there's going to be a lot more product than there is now, which I feel like there's a fair amount of product out there. If you look at all the different stuff that they come out with, I'm speculating obviously, but I just think there's going to be so many different products. Why not have at least print runs on the majority of it, 75% of it or whatever. If you're not going to put it on like the very general stuff that's in every single gas station all over the country, then fine. But it's more about just an education for the consumer to understand that this is not a rare collectible. And I know a lot of people will say, well, hey, people aren't stupid, and they already know that. I would say there's a lot of people that are new coming back in or have been out of this for a long time that get back in, and they need some help with that. They could use as much information as they can get. That was my only thing with that, but feel free, throw in comments in the chat on that. I'm open to debate or to talk through it. All right, New Zealand. Yes. Sweet. That's really cool. We got people from New Zealand. Yeah. I remember. Yeah, hopefully I answered what you were asking. Yeah, Topps Chrome football and basketball. It's going to be a while. I mean, I don't know how that works. If they acquired Panini, do they then get the licenses all in? Like, I don't know exactly how that works, or if they're going to be making, or is it going to be 2025, 2026 before we see all that Topps Chrome football and basketball stuff? Not sure on that. There's one this weekend? I did not know that there was one this weekend. How did I miss that? Interesting. Hey, Michael Ham, good to see you, buddy. Well, I think that from what I know, I mean, BBCE, and I'm not a customer, there's never used them before, but I've only heard good things about their service. The one thing I did hear is that this was the first Pokemon product that they had tackled, so I mean, if you're looking at it from that standpoint, it looks like, maybe they were a little bit in over their head on this particular product. I just don't know, though. This is all kind of speculation. I'm hearing this, through social media. Maybe they've graded, authenticated more stuff, and I just don't know about it, or others don't know about it. But there's a lot of smoke around this story. I think the only way that we're ever going to know is if they actually open it, which is kind of a shame because that's the whole purpose of it being awesome is that it's sealed. But, for the general public, they would love to see it opened, of course. Is it? That's cool. That's cool. I don't know, Dex. I think that, because look, I mean, they've authenticated a zillion things. I feel like everyone's going to make mistakes, but maybe they shouldn't have graded that one. I don't know. Or maybe the thing is completely good. I mean, we're just watching kind of speculative videos online that there's evidence there for sure, but I'm no expert. I'm just watching a video on YouTube. So I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll just have to see. We'll have to see how it shakes out. Yeah, double sessions. That's right. Topps Archives basketball coming back is exciting. The crocodiles and the funnel web spider, man, that just sent chills down my spine, Alex. The love of the game, Frankie, the love of the game. I mean, honestly, there are, and I hope that you guys do notice, I do try to tackle questions, when I make a video. A lot of times we're just looking at like one angle of a story. I'll try to pull out certain things that I don't think are really talked about that much because, yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff can get a little bit redundant as far as what's going on in the news or what's going on with a specific type of card. But there's so many different subjects to talk about, and they're not always covered, especially in short form videos. They're not covered very much. Maybe in a 2-hour, 3-hour live stream, it pops up. But not everyone's going to sit through the 3-hour live stream or know where to find it in there or whatever. So I try to kind of tackle those in like 7 to 10 minute segments. I don't know anything about this, Dex. Much harder than the soccer and basketball versions. I don't know anything about those. I'm assuming that's an insert. I know you're gonna blast me. How do you not know about it? I don't know anything about those. A buddy on Star Wars Galaxies back in the day that lived in Australia, and he had a red roo in his yard, and he told me it's the scariest thing in Australia. I took it as a truth. Yeah, it is. Yeah, serial numbered cards, print runs, sure. Or just more transparency around how many there are. For example, you know, when there's so many different numbered parallels, it'd be nice to have like a full grouping checklist that shows the totals of everything. So you kind of have an idea. Oh, there's a hundred different parallels. Well, maybe this set isn't really that rare, or maybe my parallel is just one of a million different ones. I really hope that they come up with some sort of innovative way to do that. Because look, I mean, mass produced scarcity is a thing that's not going away anytime soon, but I hope they find a way to balance all that out a little bit better. The Elite Series was out of 10,000. I hope Fanatics makes Topps Chrome the high-end retail and then gets the licensing from Panini for Prism and makes it a hobby exclusive. That's interesting. Yeah, and I have heard a lot of folks push back on me about Prism, basically that Fanatics doesn't need to buy Panini, and I think that is true to a certain extent, meaning that they already have Topps, and Topps is the most iconic brand, and they can kind of do their own things. And so I get it. I understand that angle, but I still think though that people might underestimate the popularity of Panini products over the last 10 years. Granted, it's really what 2012 onward, where we're seeing well, I guess previous to that, but it's not a long, it's not 70 years of Topps products. It's not the same sort of longevity, but they're popular. And you also think about, the nostalgic factor around young people that are going to grow up and like, man, I remember Prism basketball or whatever. There's something to that. There's something to that. Yeah, Chris was telling me today about Candy Digital. Candy Digital. It's interesting. I haven't gotten into any of the Candy Digital stuff yet. I'm definitely looking into it. I have been buying a little bit of this crypto dip that we've been seeing over the last little bit. We've talked about this on the live stream. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk crypto the whole time, but there's been some movement downward on crypto stuff over the last like 30 days or so, and I've been focused on that to some degree. Hey, what's going on? Colorado Springs. I'd love to visit Colorado. Are the Saints going to make the playoffs? What has to happen? This is sad because I don't even know, because I'm so down on this team this year. I mean, I know that we have a chance. I know we have to beat the Falcons, and then what has to happen? I don't know, Bradley, if you know what that answer is. Someone's got to lose probably. It's just a team that's so beat up with injury. I mean, our defense is so good that maybe they can get us over the hump somehow, but I just don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, even if we get in, I just don't see us making a serious run. You never know though. Maybe Taysom Hill will take us to the promised land. I don't know. It would be awesome to see, because it's literally like I mean, when you talk about just all the things that have happened throughout the season, it would be shocking if we did anything this season. It would be an absolute shock to me. I understand that. I understand the mystery element. I like that. But can you create it in other ways? I don't know. Or just have more, I don't know, have more spectacle around this stuff. Kind of like when you think of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with the golden ticket. What if you had okay, think about this. All right, guys, all right, get with me here. All right, so they do some sort of a social media live, some premiere where they're showing something similar to like a green PMG, that's numbered out of 10, or maybe it's gold prisms, whatever the kind of that chase card is upon release. And maybe they show kind of the manufacturing plant or whatever, and they show, the cards, that are about to go in. And those are the golden tickets that are going into and maybe it's hot. Maybe, of course, you got your high end stuff, but maybe there's golden tickets that, those types of golden tickets that go into that lower end product. But my point is using social media to make a spectacle of it, to where Logan Paul's got a really rare case that he's opening. Well, why wouldn't the manufacturers do something like that with their product? That would be like an innovative, fun way to get the audience, get everybody in. Like, oh, Panini's got a drop. They're about to, they're going to show their chase cards at the factory or whatever, or, at the office, however they're going to do it. But something like that, some sort of media spectacle, media attention around it, as opposed to closed door, It's going on in the background somewhere. We're in a social media world now. This is a social media age. We're going into the metaverse, the metaverse, right? You know, the virtual reality. Put me in the Panini virtual reality game. I want to see what's going on. But seriously, like some more transparency, some more stuff around that. Kind of the same way that it would be cool to have some sort of like PSA reality series where, you know, it's like The Office, but it's at the, you know, Collectors Universe office. Something like that. You know, I think that's where you really project things forward because you create a fun environment, you create a fun show around these types of things. I'm going off on a tangent, but hopefully that strikes somebody as being interesting because I think that would be awesome. I like hobby content now, but I feel like in some ways it's still kind of in its infancy as well. Just like the way that we make content, the way that we do things. I think it'd be really cool for it to expand beyond what we already see. Yeah, allegedly. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Right? Donuts. There's donuts in there. There's some kind of a jelly. I think people are saying like, man, I hope they're jelly donuts. My favorite donut is a jelly donut. South Korea. So we have Australia, New Zealand, South Korea. It's a global audience tonight. Thank you very much for joining. I think many people who want to buy cards, including base cards, have left. The market will grow, but it needs more people. Kids don't buy cards, they buy shoes. Yeah, no, I mean, that's actually a really good point because I know that there's a huge push into trying to get young people into this hobby. You see it all over the place. Sports card investor Jeff Wilson does a lot of, media around it. And then you have card shops that do, you know, kid shows and different types of things for young people to get involved in the hobby. So that will be kind of interesting to watch as well if that takes hold. I do think there's a lot of father-son stuff going on and father-daughter stuff and mom-daughter stuff, mom-son stuff, parents and young people. I think that there also is just going to be a nostalgia factor. Just like, look, I mean, I have huge nostalgia from this, from my childhood, and my parents were not into this with me. They supported me with it. They bought me packs and took me to the card shop, but they weren't doing it with me. And there are families that are actively, you know, operating in this. So I think that that's going to be interesting to watch. But that's an interesting point. Exquisite, yes, I know, man. The exquisite stuff is awesome. Donuts. Homer Simpson reference there. Digital NFTs will be worthless because they can't be classified as assets by gold. It's a whole new world, Frankie. You know, we can't, I guess if you don't believe that we're moving into kind of more of a digital world, you know, so if you think that that entire thing is a fad, which very well could be, you never know. But if you believe that that is all going to pass over, you know, NFTs will go away, the metaverse stuff will go away, the virtual reality stuff will never take hold. You could be right. You could actually very well be right, or we could be 100 years away from it, or whatever. But yeah, I'm not ready to say that they'll be worthless. And then it's like, what's the time frame on that? They'll be worthless what, in a year, 5 years, 50 years? Because I think eventually I'm a believer in the digital age taking hold at some point. It's just a timeline on it for me. I'm sorry, Dex. Sorry, I'm all over the place, man. I'm all over the place. Maybe I probably seen them and I just don't know. I'm not putting the name to the card. A lot of people talk about this. I mean, everywhere you turn, I feel like every podcast, every YouTube channel is talking about how soccer cards have the most upside. And maybe that's true. I don't know. I mean, soccer cards being popular is a fairly new thing. That's something that happened really in 2020 that has carried over. And not even the beginning of 2020. What would you, maybe like summer of 2020 really started to kind of pick up. So we're what, a year and a half into soccer cards really having some pretty good size popularity. So I'm not sure. Yeah, the World Cup is, and here's the thing too, people speculate a long way out. What I mean by that is the World Cup is coming up. People have already speculated on a lot of that stuff. So I think what, you know, typically as you get closer to the event, the same thing happens with comic books, with Marvel movies, with comic books. The same exact thing happens. the trailer comes out with the movie. And that's really kind of the sell point, because once that happens, once the movie comes out, typically the comic book goes down in price. And and for me, I think that, it's a lot of people speculating on the way to the World Cup, in the same way the Super Bowl, the World Series. And then once you get to the event, it starts to kind of taper off a little bit from what I've seen. Not to say that that's the way it's going to be, but that's just what I've seen. So this is BBCE Steve Hart is what you're talking about, Tube Nachos. This is the guy that authenticated, or his company, I suppose, that case that Logan Paul has. Yeah, and that's what I mean. The guy, this company has a great reputation, so that's where it's kind of like both of these things meet. And if it is fake, it's an honest mistake. It's not like, he has a great reputation. That company does. Hey, Marcus, Bo knows. I love that. My take is there will all be all levels of card buying. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I agree. I do think there's a lot of people that are not happy about Fanatics, but I do think that there is going to be all sorts of different types of ways to buy cards, different levels. And there always has been different levels, just nobody really talks about it that way. But that's what I mean. I think that you can kind of bridge all the gap with education, with different things. Yeah. Yeah. That's actually a good point. The condition scarcity is always a big thing. So they can be beautiful cards, but if they're off-centered or whatever. Yeah, but I agree with you, Marcus. I do think there's going to be many levels to this thing. They produced an entire set of stated print runs in the late 90s. SPX Finite and the hobby rejected it, felt it was scarcity for the sake of scarcity. My only pushback on that, Paul, would just be, I think it's a different time, meaning that the hobby in the late 90s is different than it is today. And look, you could be totally right. They could just throw up print runs on everything. It could be a total bomb. Might not work out. But I just feel like we're in a different world as far as the hobby goes today than then. I think it'd be worth taking a look at again, the whole print run conversation. The metal cards with holes, I think those are platinum portraits. Where's I've got one of those laying around. Where did it go? Yeah. If you're talking about the metal cards with the holes, is this what you mean? This is platinum portraits, and I'm pretty sure they have Marvel of these as well. But if you're talking about that, then yeah, I know what those are, but I thought Gridiron was something different. Etched foil. I like it. Different surfaces. Cobra skin cards. Scarce Cobra skin. Yeah. And then, of course, speculation on, if Panini does just kind of go away, maybe they don't get purchased and they don't make a deal and they just focus elsewhere. They make unlicensed product. What does that do for their old product? Is there kind of that same like nostalgic feeling in 20 years where they look at it like, like kind of like the late 90s insert stuff, the late 90s, early 2000s upper deck stuff? Does it come back around like that? I feel like there's going to be a segment of people that are going to miss that product. There's going to be a thing like silver prisms, and oh man, remember when everyone was chasing silver prisms? I'm just saying. I think it'll come back around. Yep, off-centered tonight at 9. I just figured I'd go on live for a little early, just hang out with everybody a little bit early. Brad will do most of the talking on off-centered, like usual. And then we've got a guest tonight. We've got Trike 415. I'm looking forward to hanging out with him. Never had him on before, so that'll be cool. I don't think I own any hockey anymore. I had a Wayne Gretzky Topps rookie card in a SGC 6.5. I bought it in 2018 and I sold it in 2020. Too early. But it's one of those cards I definitely want back at some point, but not a super scarce card. That Topps Gretzky. It's just once you start going up in the grades, it just gets more expensive. But I wish I had held on to that one. Outside of that, I don't think I almost bought a Mario Lemieux auto a few weeks ago, but I did not. So there are certain hockey things that interest me, but it's it's probably going to be more. I really want some Mario Lemieux stuff. I think that would be cool, whether it be a rookie card, or some sort of cool memorabilia auto card. Would you rather have a vintage PSA 3 rookie of a Hall of Famer GOAT from the 50s or a 6-year card, but it's a PSA 9 for like $500 more? Dex, what are you doing, man? What are you doing to me? There's like there's a little bit of context, but not much to work with. I guess if we're just talking in generalities, I would probably go, if we're just talking about, you said for like $500 more. So that means the card is at least $500. I personally would probably go with the PSA 3 vintage card, especially you're saying a Hall of Fame GOAT. Depends on which one. From the 50s, are you talking about Bill Russell rookie card? Are you talking about Jim Brown rookie card? Just thinking of like big time 50s cards. What's up, man? That's right. That's right. Fanatics. Fanatics. If you're watching, you're probably not. But if you are, the channel is ready. We're ready to talk acquisition. We're ready to start talking. Maybe Fanatics will only put out one of a player in each set. Hey, maybe they'll have a one of one set like that. Yep, absolutely. Oh, really? Actually did get some sleep last night. Passed out at 9:15 last night. Had to wake up at 5, but yeah, no, it was a pretty good sleep night. I slept all the way through. Yeah, Ovechkin is, yes. Yeah, you're right. There's some really good players. Really good. Sidney Crosby, Ovechkin would be one that I think would be a cool to pick up. Yeah, this is a good point. That was one that I was looking for. Steph Curry autos are like bonkers, especially now. It's like, man, that's something I wish I'd picked up a couple years back. I mean, that's not to say that they were like, cheap a couple years ago, but now it's just like, man, Tom Brady and Steph Curry, that stuff is it's out of the price range. Frankie Wise, guys, are you talking smack or what? Are you trolling, Frankie, or are you being serious? Keep it steady. Keep the ship steady, Frankie. Don't go off the ledge where I have to put you in like the whatever, the timeout thing. I find the small batch serial numbered cards interesting because there's a million of them, but it's a strange kind of rarity manufactured compared to moms throwing out cards. That's a really good point. Yeah, it's like, I mean, if we're being realistic, vintage wasn't the vintage stuff wasn't scarce back when they were making it. It's just scarce because it all got tossed or whatever. It's out in the river or whatever. It's out in the ocean. What the mantle that got dumped, the 52 Topps mantles. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people crack on, make fun of kind of that manufactured scarcity, but I do kind of like it to some degree. I mean, I understand, the manufactured Beanie Babies scarcity is a little, it's not exactly apples to oranges to what we're talking about here, but it can get out of hand too, where something is not scarce when you've got a million parallels of it, a million different sets. Yeah, this is a good point, Chris. I think that, well, and I think the part that doesn't help the NFT space right now is the money grab aspect of NFTs. And you know what I'm talking about with like different art projects or whatever, celebrities coming in, they've got their NFTs that they're ready to roll out for, for ETH, which one ETH is what? I mean, ETH is down, but it's still $3,800 or something for one ETH, I mean, I think that's where there's probably just people that are seeing that stuff and they're like, that's kind of a turnoff. But I think you're right, though. I think the underlying technology part is the part that is going to be totally mainstream, and people aren't even going to realize it until it's already, it's already happened. Dex with the super chat. What the heck? Gonna lurk. Time to eat dinner before work. Late start today, and yeah, the Jim Brown. I've got the PSA 3. That's actually the exact card I was thinking of when you said Hall of Fame GOAT from the 50s PSA 3. Some of the threes look terrible. There's a 9 available for like a Jim Brown 9. No. It's got to be something else. Going back to the question, it wasn't a no. It must have been a modern card or something, right? That was the question. It wasn't a PSA 9 Jim Brown for $500 more. If there's a PSA 9 Jim Brown for $500 more, I don't think that's you might want to be careful. That might be faked or something. That doesn't sound right. Thanks for hanging out, Dex. I appreciate you, buddy. Let me go. I've got sorry guys, I'm terrible with keeping tabs on all the chat stuff. Okay, I'm coming back. Soccer cards do, but from my experience, the people that play soccer and soccer are just more into playing soccer. And soccer is such a huge European sport. It's just it's odd to me because I saw some stat that like 85% of the money spent on soccer cards was in the United States, but the US is not a big soccer country, not in the same way that Europe is, not in the same way that South America is, countries in South America and countries in Europe. So I don't know though, and again, I guess if they were able to branch out, if they're ever able to get kind of that supply chain done right globally, if they're able to kind of globalize this thing a little easier, then yeah, I mean, maybe soccer cards have the highest upside because of how popular it is in other countries. But if we're just talking about just the United States, where like the majority of the money is being spent on cards, because in Europe, they're even just buying stickers and stuff. My father-in-law came over from Italy and brought me, he's like, oh, he heard about like, what I'm doing. He brought me stickers because that's what they have. They don't have cards over there. Of course, Italian players. Yeah, Kobe stuff. And I don't follow this market. I might have 1 or 2 Kobe cards. I'm not the big Kobe collector. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, Kobe stuff got a huge run up. If you think about just like with everything else, but Kobe stuff kind of went along with LeBron Jordan. And I don't know. I mean, Kobe's a fantastic player, always was. Obviously, iconic player, but I don't think he's immune to the kind of that market correction. But I'm not following his high end stuff though. Maybe his higher end stuff is doing just fine. I have no idea. Hold on, I've got a little space heater down here. I'm gonna turn it off. I'm starting to get too hot. Hold on. All right. BBC is the pack grader for PSA. I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. I've dealt with Steve Hart for 20 years. Great guy. Okay. All right. Yeah, the Jordan, and that's another thing. If someone buys Upper Deck, I don't think it necessarily means that Michael Jordan starts signing for Fanatics. I don't know if it necessarily transfers over. It's a good question, though. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's going to work itself out, though. I think we're going to reach a point where they're just not selling at that. Yeah, you kind of nailed it. The price of new product is so much higher than it was. I mean, I just don't see that staying that way. Yeah, man, absolutely. Yeah, happy New Year, Ziggy. Hope everything is going good. Hopefully 2022 starting off on the right foot. Yep, Jim Brown rookie. Yep. Dakota says he uses a gas grill for his steaks. Yeah. I'm not going to say that I don't use a gas grill as well. I use charcoal and gas, but I use a gas grill quite a bit as well. So Paul, I should probably put myself in timeout. Onyx Vintage Steph Autos, not licensed but signed on card and sell for less than Panini's. Okay, yeah, that's actually kind of a cool. I'll look into that. That's interesting. On that note, too, with some of the non-licensed stuff, Leaf has some really beautiful cards as well. I haven't been buying a lot of their new stuff, but I've got their older stuff. I've never been a sports bettor, Sammy. Yeah, I've never been on, games or spreads or anything like that. I'm too much of a chicken when it comes to the gambling side. I'm just I'm not a gambler. Now you could say like, oh, you're buying sports cards. I'm a speculator for sure. Speculating on collectibles, that's a form of, of betting, I suppose, but I've never bet on games like that. Nothing against it. I've done some daily fantasy, which is kind of like, that's sort of sports betting, I would say, but not very much. We're talking like, I probably spent like $25 of my life on daily fantasy. I always do like the $1 or the $3 ones or something. Mark, I have no idea on this. What percentage would a slight crack slab of a 17 Donruss optic hollow sold be worth? What's the slab? Is it a 10? Is it a 9? A PSA? Is it an SGC? I really have no idea. Maybe the chat can help with that. Maybe just crack slabs in general, or just something, how slight is it? Is it just a little ding on it? I think that I'm pretty sure you can just send it back to the grading company and get it reholdered. I think that's what a lot of people do. Yeah, when's the next the next video from Ziggy? Yeah, the F1 cards. I can't wrap my head around that one. That one's and not to say that I don't understand why people don't like the sport. I understand why people like any type of sport. I follow competitive ping pong when it's on. I think it's cool. I like watching pro bowling. So if you're into F1, I don't think that's like a dumb sport. It's just the cards are not something that were really relevant up until 6 months ago. That I knew of anyway. Yeah, talk to Flippin' Steve about the NASCAR stuff. What's going on, Merle World? Hope everything is good, man. I met Merle at the National. We'll be back. I don't know, Merle, are you going to be at the National in Atlantic City? We will be there. I saw something about booking VIP tickets, which I'm like, man, it's kind of far out. But I'm like, no, actually, it's not really. Should probably start looking into like hotels and stuff. I've never really spent a lot of time in Atlantic City, so probably need to take a look there. Yeah, weather is really nice. It's been coldish here. It's like, 40s, 50s over the last little bit. It's weird though. Like it was 75 on Saturday and then it snowed on Monday. Weird. Fire sales in football, and I'm buying graded, ungraded, numbered, etc. Yeah. I know that's what's so hard about all this is that prices have been coming down and it's really difficult to kind of grasp. Should I get in now? Should I wait a little bit? And I do think there's a lot of people that are just kind of holding because prices have been kind of moving downward. And it's like, let's just, I'm sure there's people that are just like, I'll just wait on it, just kind of see where that goes. And football cards in general, my gosh. And I know Dakota used the term shilling. I just don't understand how football cards are not on the same par as basketball and baseball in certain instances. I understand where, there's certain segments where you would have basketball, baseball be more expensive, but even the most expensive football cards don't hold a candle, don't hold a flame to basketball and baseball, which makes no sense to me. But I am a football card homer. I love football cards. Someone just said there's a Raleigh show this weekend, which I didn't even realize. So I was thinking about that. I think the next show that I'll be attending is Culture Collision in Atlanta. Um, I think we might go as a family, like the whole family go for that one because there's also like I think they might be doing like a celebrity basketball game in the middle of the show or something. I don't know, but I heard that that show has kind of got some cool, innovative ideas, something different. It's about a 6 hour drive or like a 90-minute flight for us, so we're trying to figure out what we want to do there. But that's I'm pretty certain I'll be at that Atlanta show. I'm excited about going to that one, and then definitely be at the National in July. Yeah. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot more of that, lately. I just sent, well, especially with PSA, I've been hearing this, with nines and tens because they don't have that 9.5. I feel like they're gonna have added critique, because it's either a nine or it's a 10, and there's probably borderline cards, and then just think about how busy they are and everything. I mean, there's gonna be cards that slip through the cracks at all these companies, but with how busy PSA has been, you have new graders, I mean, yeah, there's got to be, cards that slip through the cracks. I was watching Elite Co 3, I think, is the guy that was talking about it. Well, he talks about it on his channel, but he's been grading cards since 2010 or 2005 or something with them, a long while. And he was talking about it. So I feel like for him if he speaks up on it, he's been subbing with them long enough, probably thousands, tens of thousands of cards. He probably has an idea of what he's talking about. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, Alex. I'm being more picky. And actually, I have to slow down my buying for first quarter of this year. We've got some house family expenses that I've got to cover. So I am going to be appreciating my collection. I'll probably, I'll do some trades here and there. I'll buy some stuff here and there, but for the most part, I'm going to just chill kind of in first quarter with buying new stuff and then make up for it the rest of the year is kind of my plan. But we'll see what happens. I'm kind of hoping that prices for stuff don't necessarily spike to where it's more expensive or I miss out, but at the same time, there's going to be certain things where prices will probably continue to slide down to where there'll be some opportunities. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Well, and you guys are on the West Coast, I believe, so that's a little bit of a hike. It's a little bit of a hike. Good question. What does everybody think about that? The baseball lockout, is it going to get solved? How do you mean, though? How do you mean? Because they have the same. I mean, to me, it's like Chrome is Chrome. They've got memorabilia stuff, they've got nice autos. How do you mean flashy? Because there's a lot of similarities as far as the actual, cards themselves. I've heard people say like, "Oh, well, you have more connection with the players because they're not wearing helmets like in football." But I don't know. For me, that doesn't really matter. Plus, there's football cards out there where they're not wearing helmets. There's plenty of them. So I just don't know. I don't get it. I just think it's one of those weird hobby things that doesn't make any sense. But if I can change it, I will try to help change and educate people on the glory of football cards. No, I just love football as a sport, and it's just I hope that they just catch up. I don't need football to be like number one, but I would just like for them to be in the same kind of ballpark. I'm gonna come out with a video showing different things on like some grading numbers. Football cards just don't get graded. It's like it's wild. Anyway, I won't go on too much of a tangent there. Jamar Chase, man, remember preseason when Jamar Chase, when Chase like was talking about how he couldn't catch because the ball was big or too big, or he was having remember that in preseason for the Bengals, and everybody was speculating like, oh, this guy can't catch a football in preseason, and now he's like Randy Moss part two. It's crazy. Not really Randy Moss part two. So you guys don't jump down my throat. I understand it's a different type of receiver. I understand. Honestly, Randy Moss, I watched his rookie season, and that was one of the greatest rookie seasons ever. Him with Chris Carter with the Vikings. Oh my gosh. That was insanity. They would just chuck it to him 50 yards downfield. It'd be three guys on him. It didn't matter. And then he'd outrun everybody. Yeah, yeah. No, I get that, but I'm not even talking about current players. I'm talking about vintage football, or just not even vintage, 80s, 90s, whatever. You know, I mean, like, not even current players. Maybe that'll change over time. Maybe that'll change. But again, the majority of the money that is spent on cards is in the United States. I know that basketball has a global audience for sure, but it still hasn't been tapped into yet, which I guess maybe you could make an argument that there's more money to come to basketball cards. We will see. Yeah, sports cards and collectibles market is interesting to follow. There definitely is money that just is moving around to different things for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Fanatics 2026. Is this the official Fanatics uh, site? Is this the official account? Because if like I said earlier, I know we were, it's just kind of meant to be. The acquisition, I know it's coming. So when you're ready to talk, actually, I posted my video about Fanatics and print runs, and Fanatics 2026 just commented no on the video. How long have I been on? What are we at? 46 minutes. My gosh, man. When I'm on by myself, the time just flies. All right. During tax return season. Yeah, there is kind of that speculation. Do people get their tax money and they're buying cards, and maybe there is kind of a little bit of a boost? That's interesting. It's happening. It's happening. It is happening. No, you don't want to sponsor Sports Cards Anonymous channel yet, or acquire, not yet, not yet. Or let's just do it all as a giant package. How about that? I'm going to tell Brad that tonight, Frank. Actually, that's going to be the first thing I bring up on Off Centered. Just how much he is dragging me down, isn't it? Don't you feel like that sometimes? No, Brad is funny. Brad is really funny, but he is dragging me down. All right, guys, I should probably get the kids to bed before Off Centered comes on. Oh, okay. I'm getting texts. I'm like, what? Who is this? Okay. Um, yeah, I should probably jump off here to get ready for everything, kind of get things rolling. Actually, let's stay on for another 5 minutes. Any more comments or questions or anything else you want to talk about? Anything pressing? I don't know, man. Is this your Super Bowl 57? Or is this a trick question where 57 is that in the future? I'm looking it up now. I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in this year, Mark. I really don't. I don't have faith. We need I know this is going to sound crazy, but we need Jameis Winston. I never thought I was going to say this before the season, but we need Jameis Winston. And honestly, like, if we had Jameis and maybe Michael Thomas, just a few of our guys, we definitely need another receiver threat. We just don't have it. We need more offense. Our offense is stale. Our defense is playing out of its mind. But I just don't think we have enough. I don't think we have enough juice. We don't have enough juice. Yeah, Randy Moss was scary. Randy Moss you're right. He was so just out of this world. He was unstoppable. He really was, which I get. He's been great. I don't want to take away from Chase, but Randy Moss was from another planet. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off, get ready for the next live stream. Maybe I should have a post off-centered live stream just talking about how much Brad is bringing me down. No, I'm kidding. Just do 3 live streams on Wednesday nights. Too much or too little? I'll leave you with that. This is actually an interesting point. So this is, and now I have to stay on for a couple minutes, Vendralia. I would not be upset if the Saints were able to pick up on kind of a sweetheart deal, got some sort of a seventh rounder or something to get Baker Mayfield out of Cleveland. If they're going to cut him anyway, or I think they signed him to a fifth-year option, so it's $18 million. So maybe we get Baker for a year and then we re-sign him to a longer contract. I would not be upset about this because I think that Sean Payton I think Baker Mayfield would be really good under Sean Payton. That's what I think. A lot of this stuff in football, and if you watch football, a lot of it's situational. A lot of guys do really well in a certain system under a certain coach, but I don't know. I think that Baker Mayfield, I would be happy with that deal. Plus, I'm a de facto Cleveland Browns fan because they're my AFC team because my in-laws they're in Dayton, Ohio. They're all Browns fans. So I'm a Baker fan. Plus, I've got Baker cards. I've got some Baker cards. I don't have loads and loads of Baker cards, but I like him. I know he gets a lot of, people are like, oh, he stinks and blah, blah, blah. I would take him in New Orleans. I think under Sean Payton, he would be a force. All right, guys. I am going to, maybe Big Ben. I think Big Ben is probably all done. But full circle, exactly. I would not mind at all having Baker Mayfield on the Saints. I would be so pumped for that. Russell Wilson to the Saints also would be cool. It's just more of what we would have to give up for him. It's kind of the same conversation around Deshaun Watson. I don't want to give up 4 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. No, I mean, I'd rather just roll the dice with Jameis Winston for $15 million a year and be able to pay other guys. So I am not in NFL all day, Mark. I didn't get the invite I know that they're on beta right now. I would like to check it out. I've got Top Shot stuff. I would like to check it out, but yeah, unfortunately that's a no on the NFL all day. All right, guys. Have a good I'll see you in an hour and a half on the Comeback Card Investor channel. If you can hang out with me on there, we're going to have Trike 415. If you can put up with Brad for an hour, yeah, that would be cool. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care. I will see you next time.